John Beltran back with Brian Nickell and Kevin Rhode as the Mustangs get ready to take on the Northridge Grizzlies. Both teams are sitting at 4-2, and Northridge has had some decent competition throughout the course of the season, but we know that last week's victory, Kevin, over Roosevelt, that's a benchmark game because if the Mustangs lose that one, it's a little bit of a different scenario heading into tonight's game. I mean, these are always must-wins, but such a big victory in a game that very similar to earlier games this season. There was a point in that game last week that appeared to be lost, only for Fort Morgan to pull it out of the hat.
Right, and I think that's going to be the tale of this season, that the kids have not started well. The Mustangs have not started well in any of their games, and boy, I'd like to see that change tonight. But that being said, they have not started well, but they've got to have supreme confidence in their ability to come back and to stay in it and fight through it and survive, because last week's perfect example, they could have just cashed it in, and Frankie Lopez said, no, we're going to take it to the house.
Yeah, Frankie Ortega.
Ortega, yep. He took it to the house, and then to play in overtime and have them score and be able to come back and put it in there, kick the extra point, and win the game. So, yeah, I'm looking for them to get off to a good start. I think this will probably be one of the teams that they should be able to do well against. And it's kind of scary with a Northridge team because they're good enough that if you give them enough room, they might come out with the victory.
Well, they're certainly an improved team. Brian, let's get to your Nickell package here, the 5 keys for a Mustang victory tonight, which would be their 3rd straight here against the Northridge Grizzlies.
Right. What I've got started off with here offensively, control the ball, put it on the ground, or keep the ball on the ground, and take their time in possession, win that time in possession. Tonight they need to hang on to the ball. Northridge has forced 5 fumbles. They've recovered 10, according to Max Preps. So they're after the ball. They need to shut down number 10, Patrick Diem. He's had 2 touchdowns rushing, or 2 touchdowns receiving, and 6 touchdowns rushing. And they like to rush the ball also. They have 1,128 yards on the ground, so they like to keep it on the ground. They need to still cut down on the penalties. I think they still have like 8 or 9 last week. They do need to be a little more focused on that. And then once again, the special teams need to be special. I think they can do that again tonight because Northridge does have 1 punt return for a touchdown this year, so they need to be on their toes on both ends of it, and maybe they can either take one back on a punt return or maybe on a kickoff like Frankie did last week.
All right, the opening kickoff is brought to you by Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance. Things happen in life. Make sure you're prepared with the right insurance coverage. Ingmeyer Phillips Insurance in Brush and Fort Morgan. The Mustangs are in their road whites. And Northridge in, what shade of blue? Is that a navy blue? I would...
Yeah, just a tad darker than navy, maybe. Yep. It's midnight blue, maybe. Yep, with the maroon letters on the outside, or on the backs. Should be pretty easy to read the numbers again tonight.
Oh, it's a gorgeous stadium here at District 6 Stadium, and even though the numbers and the uniform colors for Northridge, there's not a huge contrast. There's still enough of a contrast, and the numbers are big enough that we can see them. Fort Morgan always has it right because you got the white over the black or the black over the white. All right, Jacob Ortega will kick it off here for Fort Morgan. Yeah, Israel Campa, he started last year at quarterback as a sophomore for Northridge, and he grew up in Fort Morgan and transferred or moved to Greeley right before the middle school years.
So he played a little bit of the travel league and some baseball with some of the Fort Morgan kids and knows them well.
Well, I don't know if he played the baseball. He certainly did play football and maybe even some basketball. All right, Ortega with a kickoff. Deep and fielded at the 8-yard line. Running to the 15 along the left side. Tackled at the 18-yard line. Yeah, that's where it's tough to see the Northridge return man. But the Mustangs down there for a 10-yard return. They're off the opening kickoff to Gonzalo Rodriguez, a senior.
He's a load, 6 foot, 235. But the first Mustang down there got down around his ankles and got a hold of his legs and held them up.
Official spot is the 17-yard line for Northridge. Trips to the right. Out of the gun with a running back to the right. That's Deem. The quarterback is Izzy Campo, waiting the snap, 4 yards behind center. It's option right. There's a flag down, 2 flags down, swings it to the outside, and he's down at the line of scrimmage. That might be more than likely against Northridge. Eddie DePriest and K.O. Langford in on the play. It was thrown immediately. It had to be some illegal motion.
Yeah, I think the guy that was in motion turned upfield too soon. And it looks like Fort Morgan's going to decline it.
And, nope, they're going to take the penalty. Yeah, I thought 2nd and 10, especially this team, that they're passing better than they did a year ago. But now they want to force them into a passing situation even quicker. And now you're right, they did decline it.
Right.
No gain for Campa, 2nd down and 10 for the 17-yard line. Both teams looking for their 5th victories of the season. A gorgeous night. Temperature in the upper 60s here in Greeley at District 6 Stadium. Lining up on the right hash mark. On 2nd and 10 for the 17. Now under center is Campa. 2 in the backfield. And there's the end around running to his left across the 15-yard line. And now gets to the 20, to the 21. There was a small seam in there for Daniel Granados. It's a gain of about 4. 3rd down and 6. Nick Norris ran a long way. He was in on the play along with a couple of other Mustangs.
Yeah, they just really did a good job of containing him, and he was able to find a little bit of a crease to cut back inside and make some positive yardage out of there.
3rd down and 6 to go for Northridge. The opening minutes of the game. Special Thursday night edition. The Mustangs will now have 2 extra days to prepare for their next game because it's a Saturday on the 26th against Thompson Valley. 2 receivers out to the right. 1 to the left. 1 setback. Man in motion to the left now resets under center. Campa back to throw. And that pass is batted down by Nick Norris on a little slant. I'm not sure who it was intended for, but that's a swat there by Norris. And it's 4th down and 6.
Yeah, he's a good basketball player, too. He's got some vertical leap there, and he got up there and knocked that ball down.
All right, now Northridge to punt. The Mustangs hopefully will see a lot of that tonight. Northridge in punt formation. High snap. Here comes the rush. And it's a fluttering punt. Fair catch. Jacob Ortega has it at his own 46-yard line by Rodriguez. That's a punt of 33 yards. You rarely see the punter and the kickoff return man as the same player. 1st and 10 for Fort Morgan at their own 46. And we know the cast of characters here. Briggs, Wheatley, the quarterback. Frankie Ortega's in that backfield. On the inside slot is Ernie Sandoval. Offensive line is coming along. 2 receivers out to the right. Jacob Ortega and Malachi Yanez. Yeah, this offensive line has certainly made strides. From the 46, there's the direct snap to Wheatley. Tries to break out of a tackle, stutter steps, and backs his way to the 47, maybe the 48. It's a gain of 2. 2nd down and 8 to go for Northridge as the tackle was made by Cody Burkholder.
Once again, we're going to face a defense that's going to just put 8 in the box and concentrate on stopping that run.
Yeah, well, I thought it was Burkholder, but now I got to recheck that. 2nd down and 8 to go at the 48-yard line. Yeah, the Mustangs could open this up and with a pass and then test out that run defense a little bit more from Northridge. 10 minutes to go, first quarter. Out of the pistol. Wheatley will hand it off to Ortega. Stutter stepping to the right, to the outside of the 50. Breaks out of a tackle and near the 1st down marker across the 45 to about the 44. Let's see where they mark it, but Ortega with a nice sidestep along the right side. Right at the marker, Patrick Diem made the tackle. It's a gain of 8, and the sticks move for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, Frankie's a shifty little runner and does a good job of making people miss out there on the side.
So they got a sophomore out there. And Ortega on a 1st and 10 from the 44 of Northridge. Now this time the running back to the right of the quarterback, and this will be a run by Wheatley, spinning, backing his way across the 40 to the 38. Off that right side, it's a gain of 6 before he was stacked up there. 2nd down. And 4 to go. Diem in on the play again. They'll give him just 5. They'll backtrack the football to the 39-yard line on Fort Morgan's opening possession here. And they got great field position to begin the possession at the Northridge are at their own 46-yard line, but easily into Northridge territory.
That's when the Mustangs seem to do the best, is when they have that short field. It seems like when they have a long field this year, they usually go 3 and out.
Well, but they're going to have to operate on longer fields in the playoffs if they get that far. Play action, Wheatley to throw it to his left. The pass is going to be underthrown. It's incomplete. Might have been partially tipped, intended for Ortega at the 35. It'll be 3rd down and 5 to go for Fort Morgan. Yeah, I'm not sure that somebody got a piece of that ball or just came out of his hand funny.
And Jacob did a really good job of trying to get back to it and almost caught it.
Yeah, he had to come back on that one. 4 down territory here for the Mustangs. 8:42 to go in the opening quarter. John Beltran with Brian Nickell and Kevin Rhode. No score. Fort Morgan's first possession. Out of the pistol, 3rd and 5. Wheatley handoff to Ortega. Swings it to the outside. Flag is down, and so is Ortega for no gain. It's a nice open field tackle by Reese Pratz.
Looks like maybe a hold on the play.
Now let's see. It's going to be, yep, against Fort Morgan. It'll be declined. Well, the Mustangs will go for it here. 4th and 5 from the Northridge 39. Lining up on the left hash mark. Ortega and Yanez are the receivers to the right. Adam Cardona to the left. Mustangs, as they customarily do, looking over to the sideline for play instructions. On 4th and 5. From the gun, Wheatley, 5-step drop, looks, heaves it deep up the right side, incomplete. Ortega got turned around at the 11, and Briggs Wheatley took a major hit, and he's getting up slowly. I mean, he took a huge hit at the 47-yard line, and I think that's the reason for the incompletion.
Yeah, that kid was right on top of him when he went to throw it. So we'll see.
I still think that's one thing that Briggs has to work on is avoiding those shots.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you got to block for him. There's no question about it, but that's happened multiple times this season. And as he matures, he'll just work his way out of it and buy some time. 1st and 10 for Northridge at their own 39. Setback is 7 yards behind center. That's Deem. He's got the handoff, bounces it to the outside, and he gets around the Mustangs, got the left sideline across the 40 towards the 44 before he's taken out of bounds. It's a gain of maybe up to 6 yards as they spot the football at the 45. 2nd down and 4 to go for the Grizzlies. They're right back up to the line of scrimmage. One receiver out to the right, one to the left. Under center is Izzy Campa. He'll hand it off to Deem, running to his right, and he runs right into a Mustang, and a 1st down at the 49. Eddie DePriest made the tackle, but somebody took some significant contact, and that's the issue. If you're trying to tackle too high, the man with the ball usually has the advantage.
Right, he definitely stepped in there with his shoulder like he wanted to initiate that contact and establish the fact that he was going to punish whoever tries to tackle him.
1st and 10 for Northridge at their own 49, 7:40 to go first quarter. On a gorgeous night in Greeley. Receiver split left and right. That's amazing how far behind center the running back Deem is. 7 yards behind where the ball is placed. It's a deep handoff to Deem. Takes it to the right side, but he's going to be thrown for a loss. Well, no, he's going to get across the 50. I thought he was going to be thrown for a loss, but he kept driving to the 48. Check that, a gain of 3. He was actually hit at the line of scrimmage, so I had miscalculated initially. It's a gain of 3, and DePriest gets off the bottom of the pile and assists on the tackle along with Shane Martinez.
Fort Morgan's offense, started off pretty good, but then kind of faltered, and if they would have gotten that 1st down and got a penalty, now the defense needs to pick it up and make a stop.
Yeah, now I know why Deem is so far, because he gained some momentum. As it's play action, Campa to throw, and that pass is incomplete, a jump pass, and there's a flag down. A lot of pressure there by Andrew Monroe. And again, this appears to be an offensive penalty. Either it's going to be 3rd and 7 or 2nd and long. And the initial indication, personal foul, a chop block against Northridge, so that's going to be at least 2nd and 22, if not more.
Yeah, and that's part of the game that they are working really hard to eliminate. You don't want these young kids getting their knees hurt by a chop block.
2nd down and 24. They've got to get to the Morgan 41. Passing situation maybe right now. Out of the gun. Campa. Pass out in the left flat. Incomplete. It was well thrown out in front of the receiver. A flag is down immediately, intended for Aaron Ness. Now let's see what the flag is all about. But again, you would assume, Brian, that's got to be motion again.
Yeah, it was something in the backfield there for Northridge. They're having a talk with the ref on the other side, but I thought the flag came from this side.
Well, don't take the penalty if you're Fort Morgan.
No.
That doesn't make any sense. You'd go to 3rd and 24. Who cares about a 2nd and 29? Oh, they're waving it off.
Oh, okay.
All right, but still, I don't know why the referee was even starting to try to walk it off without even consulting Fort Morgan, assuming that a penalty was committed on Northridge. So now it's 3rd down and 24 to go for Northridge at their own 35. No score. 6:39 to go in the opening quarter. And I don't know what they can pull out of the hat. They're not a prolific passing team. But Patrick Deem, as Brian mentioned, he could also be a receiving weapon out of the backfield. Under center, Campa, 5-step drop, throws it out to his left. It's off the right hand of the intended receiver at the 44, 45-yard line. That's either Alanes or Ness. Well, they said Granados, but yep, that's Daniel Granados. Check that. So incomplete, and it'll be Gonzalo Rodriguez to punt on 4th down and 24 for Northridge.
Nice pressure that time by Eddie DePriest.
Yeah, here comes some pressure on the punt, end over end. Ortega's got it at the 35-yard line. Swings it to the right side of the 40. He's got a seam and a block to the 50. Ortega up the right sideline to the 30. Ortega gone. 65 yards for Jacob Ortega. And the Mustangs lead 6-0.
And those special teams are special tonight. Another big play on special teams there.
Yeah, they got that wall set up there, and he just hit the outside, and he was, as John said, he was gone. So
now the extra point off the 65-yard punt return by Jacob Ortega. And the ball got to him quickly, Brian, so he had a chance to set up where he wanted to run. Adam Cardona to attempt the extra point. Off the hold of Caden Edson. And the kick is up by Cardona, and it's inside the right upright. It's good. 6:17 to go, first quarter from Greeley. It's Fort Morgan 7, Northridge nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 65-yard punt return by Jacob Ortega gets the Mustangs on the board, leading 7-0. 6:17 to go in the opening quarter in Greeley against the Northridge Grizzlies. And to kick it off will be the man himself, Jacob Ortega. He squibs this one, takes a huge hop, fielded at the 12, straight to the 20-yard line, to the 25, now to the 28. Return of 16 yards. And that looked like it might have been Garrett Sexton. And it was for Northridge. And now Northridge will have another possession here. As the Mustangs, Ryan, they've already fulfilled one of the things you said about on your nickel package, special teams.
Yep. Yeah, it looked nice. They had a nice return set up for him on that right sideline.
1st and 10 at the 28. We got a flag down. No flag. Maybe a timeout.
Yep.
Yeah, timeout called by Northridge. We'll be back with you a week from Saturday when they take on Thompson Valley in Loveland, 1 o'clock kickoff. That'll be right here on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network, as the Mustangs, hopefully by that time, will be going for their 4th consecutive victory. When it comes to experience, Buildings by Design is the very best in the business. Quality, commitment, and experience makes Buildings by Design the only choice when it comes to your next project. That's Buildings by Design. Well, Northridge now trying to generate some offense.
And I think the coach is seeing it as a critical drive here. They have to go down and score and stay in this game with Fort Morgan. Something wasn't lined up right, and he needed to call a timeout.
Yeah, and you're too deep into the season for those mistakes. 1st and 10 from the 27. Campa, the quarterback. Make it the 28 is under center. 2 receivers split to the left, 1 to the right. With the deep back Deem, there's the pitch left to Patrick Diem. And he bounces it to the outside, but he's maybe got a yard, if even that. Hit along the Fort Morgan sideline, and once again, there were a number of Mustang tacklers in on the play, including Brian Paxton. 2nd down and 10 to go for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, nice pursuit that time by the Fort Morgan defense. They didn't let him get around the corner that time. Whoever was out there on that end out there did a nice job to keep him from going downfield.
2nd and 10 from the 28-yard line. Again, Campa's under center. 2 to the right. Back to throw. The slant is going to be intercepted. A diving interception at the 40 by Jacob Ortega, thrown behind the intended receiver. And Ortega made an incredible interception, laying out for that football. And the Mustangs are at the Northridge 40 with another opportunity to score here in the opening quarter.
And that was just an excellent individual play there on a errant pass that wasn't going anywhere. And he just laid out, dove out, caught that ball. Good job.
1st and 10 for Fort Morgan. At the Northridge 40-yard line. Well, you would assume the running game here is what the Mustangs will go to right now. Wheatley, 4 yards behind center. Pressure coming on the blitz. There's the handoff to Frankie Ortega. And he's got some yardage across the 40 to the 37. Aaron Ness makes the play. They'll give him 4. 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, that offensive line is just still not where it should be or where we're used to seeing Fort Morgan's offensive line, just blowing everyone off the line.
Now under center. And there's the give to Ernie Sandoval off right tackle. 1st down to the 30. It's a gain of 6 for Ernie before he stacked up. Well, that's what the Mustangs want. And now they're right up to the line of scrimmage. Let's see if they run it again. And Northridge jumped.
Yep.
The left defensive end jumped. It'll be at the 25.
Snap. Encroachment.
That's some good coaching to take advantage of a team that might be a little disorganized after that play and get up there and do a hard count and get 5 yards off of them.
1st and 5 for the Mustangs at the 25 of Northridge. Leading 7-0 on Jacob Ortega's 65-yard punt return. This time Wheatley 4 yards behind center. Man in motion, that's Ortega on the jet sweep, cuts it back to the inside and swings it back to the outside. And he gains a couple of yards, excuse me, for the tackles made. 2nd down and 3 to go for Fort Morgan.
Fort Morgan playing just a physical, in-your-face, let's see if he can stop us type of game.
Well, they'll give him the official spot to 22, which would make it a 3-yard gain. Out of the pistol. Wheatley, play action, rolls out to his right, throws underneath. Caught at the 20 by Sandoval. Along the right sideline to the 10. Ernie is going to score as he slams into a Grizzly right at the goal line. 22 yards away.
Yeah,
Fort Morgan 13, Northridge nothing.
He was not going to be denied. He just saw that last defender come in, and he laid the wood to him on that one. That was a nice job.
Here comes the extra point. All right. Awaiting the snap here when they set up. Off the hold of Caden Edson. Adam Cardona to attempt the extra point. That one is up, and he line drives that right inside the left upright. It's good. 3:32 to go, first quarter. In Greeley, Fort Morgan 14, Northridge nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 14-0 Mustangs. On a 22-yard pass from Wheelie to Sandoval. Ortega to kick it off. High, end over end, fielded at the 11 by Rodriguez. Stuttering to his left, or to his right, that is, across the 20 to the 22. Stepping, not stuttering. But anyway, Northridge has got it, their third possession, and it's been tough for them. Might actually be their fourth possession.
Right. Yeah, it is. And, you know, they had some success early on, and then they've just had some penalties and some miscues, and obviously the turnover.
Yeah, if they don't run the football, they're in big trouble. They've got to run the football effectively. 1st and 10 for Northridge at their own 23. Israel Campa's under center. Baxton and I. The deep back, of course, is Patrick Diem. 2 receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Campa will hand it off to the fullback and trying to bounce off a Mustang and maybe getting a yard. Let's see who that is for Northridge. Aaron Ness for a gain of about 1.5 yards. 2nd down and 9 to go. The interior, that Fort Morgan defense was outstanding there.
Yeah, looks like Cale Langford was right in there with him. He got up off the bottom of the pile.
2nd down and 9 from the 24. 2:53 to go in the opening quarter. Mustangs 14, Grizzlies nothing. Under center, Campa. Play action, rolls out to his right, stops, throws underneath, and it's incomplete. A little bit of a high throw, quite a high throw to the 26-yard line. Man was wide open underneath there for Northridge and Hayden Rose. But now Izzy Campa struggling with his touch. Is 0 for 5 with an interception, and it was picked off by Jacob Ortega on the previous drive.
And that would have taken a little bit of touch because he had to drop it over a defender that was coming in on him. But yeah, and then the kid almost made a great play. He tipped it up and almost got under it and caught it anyway.
3rd down and 9 to go from the 24. 2 receivers split out to the left, 1 to the right. Passing situation, Campa with a deep drop. Pressure coming, throws off his back foot. Intercepted along the right sideline, inside the 20, down at around the 16. About a 15-yard return. Let's see who picked it off for Fort Morgan. And let's see, I'm keeping my eye on him right now. That is picked off by Fernando Marquez, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, Marquez picks it off. He read that beautifully. And Fort Morgan is in business at the 16-yard line. Well, was that Marquez?
I think it might have been Flores, Angel Flores.
All right. Who's wearing 5 out here? I mean, that's
That'd be Jackson Langford.
Yeah.
Langford.
So, is he? Okay.
I thought it was it 5? I thought it was 3.
Well, either way. Yeah. Boy, it almost looked like Jackson picked it off. I thought it was the same guy who just came back on the field. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the 16. Wheatley, play action, looking to throw. The slant is going to be caught. Touchdown, Jacob Ortega, 16 yards away. His 2nd touchdown of the game. Fort Morgan 20. Northridge nothing with 2:28 to go in the opening quarter in Greeley.
And I'm thinking that Northridge is just having a complete letdown at this point. It wasn't what they were expecting. They thought maybe this is the year that they were going to compete. They're 4-2. They had a big beatdown against Erie last week, and now they're getting a beat down by the Mustangs.
2 turnovers committed by Northridge in the opening quarter. Cardona's extra point is up, and he booted that right down the middle. 2:28 to go in the first quarter. Another 30-second break with a score. Fort Morgan 21, Northridge nothing on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. 21-0 Fort Morgan. Ortega to kick it off high and short along the sideline. Gonzalo Rodriguez at the 15 and adds across the 20 to the 25, a return of 10. Jacob Ortega's got a 65-yard punt return for a score. He just scored at a 16-yard catch. And then prior to that, a 22-yard pass reception and run by Ernie Sandoval. Those have accounted for the 3 touchdowns in this game. And Fort Morgan has taken advantage of the 2 turnovers and played on a short field throughout the course of this first quarter.
Yeah, and there's number 5 on the far side over there.
Yeah,
you have to watch and see if he runs like Jackson or not.
1st and 10 at the 26. Handoff to the deep man, Deem. A seam to the outside to the 30. And then he's taken down by Langford and Norris at the 31 for a gain of 5 for Patrick Deem. 2nd down and 5 to go. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Jackson has been wearing number 5, but I don't see Fernando Marquez out there unless he's wearing that particular uniform, because Marquez has been in the secondary all season wearing number 4. So that's what I'm wondering about.
Right, because that number 5 doesn't look like Jackson.
Yeah, that looks like Marquez from this vantage point. 2nd down and 5 for the 31. 5 carries for 18 yards for Patrick Diem. 2 receivers out to the left, out of the shotgun. Izzy Campa has the football right up the middle. He's got a little bit of room, and he lunges to the 34. As Miko Yanez made the hit, a gain of 3, 3rd down and 2 to go for the Grizzlies. Yeah, they need to stick with a run here. They're not a passing team. And they don't even look in sync with the pass.
Right.
No, it looks, discombobulated.
3rd down, a short 2 from their own 34. Under a minute to go in the opening quarter. Fort Morgan leads by 3 scores. The D-back is Deem. Deem has got the football, and he's going to be taken down by Gabe Vickers for about a 5-yard loss. Vickers got in there and slammed it down at the 30. He might have come through unblocked as the junior made a big play. 4th down and 6 to go for the Grizzlies. Yeah, if you don't have the proper blocking scheme with a running back 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage, that's going to be an issue.
Yeah, and he, as you said, I think he came unblocked, but he almost was there in time for the handoff.
Right.
And now a heavy rush and a gorgeous punt. Ortega's got a fair catch it at the 27. So the Mustangs have their worst field position here of the opening half. They're still in the first quarter. 21.9 seconds to go, leading 21-0. The question is, can they finish?
Right.
In other words, can they extend the lead and maybe get this to a running clock? So the official spot is the 27. And work on the ground game. We know the passing game has flourished.
Right.
And we know that Frankie Ortega, based on what he did last week on special teams, has game-breaking speed. 1st and 10 from the 27.
It looks like Jackson Langford must be wearing number 10 tonight. He's over there with the coaches with calling in the plays.
And we got a flag down.
Lined up offside.
Well, that's what it usually is. It's usually a defensive penalty, and that's exactly what it is.
I think it was this number 17 out here. Reese Pratt's lined up offsides.
1st down and 5 to go for Fort Morgan at their own 32.
I guess when you line up against across from Jacob Ortega, you want to get up there and get some press coverage on.
No doubt. This should be the final play of the opening quarter. Briggs Wheatley barking out the signals from the gun, running back to his left. Sandoval on the inside slot. Wheatley will hand it off on the right side, and that is Frankie Ortega, I believe. Yep, and a gain of about just a couple. They're right up to the line of scrimmage. He got to the 35. Well, they'll give him 3 yards. Ness made the tackle. 2 seconds to go. 1 second. And they're not going to get the play off. That's the end of the opening quarter. With a score, Fort Morgan 21, Northridge nothing. It's a 1-minute break on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Along with Brian Nickell and Kevin Rhode, I'm Sean Beltran. Let's head to the second quarter. The Mustangs lead Northridge 21-0. 65-yard punt return for a score by Jacob Ortega. 22-yard pass reception by Ernie Sandoval. A 16-yard reception by Ortega. Back to throw. Wheatley, his pass is picked off at the 42, along the left sideline to the 20 and down at the 19. I don't know who he was throwing it to. Nick Norris makes the tackle. It was intercepted by Isaac Ness, but there was a major miscommunication between Wheatley and the intended Mustang receiver.
Yeah, I think the receiver was going deep down the field, and he was double covered under and over, and he just threw that thing right to the under defender.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like the intended receiver. 1st and 10, Northridge already in the red zone. A return of 23 yards at the Mustang 19. Izzy Campa threw 2 interceptions in the opening quarter. Under center. Hand off to Deem, swinging it right side, and he spins to the 16, if even that far. Oh, they'll put the football to 17 for a gain of 2. Ortega, Schneider, and Monroe around the football. 2nd down and 8 to go for Northridge.
It's still not a great deal of success for them. They'd probably like to break a run and get in here and get some momentum going.
Well, it's that deep handoff, man, that you so used to see Peyton Manning to Edger and James back in the Colts days. On 2nd and 8, handoff to Deem. He's got nothing. He's going to be taken down for a loss at the 18-yard line. Count the number of Mustangs in on that play. At least 3 of them. Eddie DePriest, Nick Norris, as well as Juan Chavez made the hit.
Now we got an unsportsmanlike penalty on, looks like Northridge. I think Deem was, offsetting.
Well, nonetheless, it's 3rd down and 9. Well, they want to take control of the game. Not that anything's happened before this play, but
I thought Deem was going to go back to the huddle and was yelling at his own teammates. I don't know what was said back from the Fort Morgan
We
side.
have dead ball fouls on both teams. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 10.
well,
After the play,
It's on.
unsportsmanlike defense, number 55.
yeah, it's on Deem and Chavez. Deem of Northridge, Chavez of Fort Morgan. 3rd down and 9 to go from the Fort Morgan 19-yard line. 10:58 to go, 2nd quarter. Fort Morgan with a 21-0 lead, scoring on special teams and taking advantage of 2 Northridge turnovers. Interceptions by Jacob Ortega and Fernando Marquez. On 3rd down and 9 from the 19. 2 receivers split each side. Camp under center. Man in motion to the right, resetting. And Camp, a quick drop. The bubble screen out to the right, behind the line of scrimmage, throwing into the end zone, touchdown. That was a lateral that was thrown into the end zone to Granados, I believe. That touchdown pass was thrown by, I believe, Jose Chavarria. And then Granados caught it from 19 yards away, and Northridge is on the board. So that backwards pass or a lateral sucked in the Mustangs, and Granados was wide open, and Northridge is down 21-6.
And that interception kind of let them back in and got their momentum going, and now Fort Morgan's going to have to reestablish their mojo.
Going for it here. 2-point conversion's good.
All right, now there's a late flag. Is that? Boy, they did that so quick. I kept my eyes on the book here. Now it's 21-8 with a late flag.
Wonder if they're calling him for a late hit after he was in the end zone and then he tackles him.
Yeah, the Northridge kid act like it was on him the way he kind of.
That's Aaron Ness who got into the end zone.
Pass interference, maybe. Yeah.
All right, so that's not going to count. They'll have to either try a conversion, or now a 2-point conversion is going to be from way out there.
That explains why he was so wide open.
Yeah, without a doubt. Major push off there apparently by Ness. Now the line of scrimmage is at the 18. They're actually going to attempt an extra point from the 25-yard line, a 35-yard extra point. That is Khalil Banji. Oh, he's going to need a strong kick here. There's the snap, heavy rush, and, we got a flag down. Flag is down before the kick was blocked.
Fort Morgan might have been offside.
Yep, they're playing Fort Morgan's way.
Well, it'll still be a 30-yard extra point.
And the clock's not running for any of this.
No, that's we don't have to get home that quickly.
That's true. Early start, close to home.
So here we go. A 30-yard extra point for Bonji. Snap is down. The kick is up. Boy, he booted that one beautifully. It is good. 10 minutes, 39 seconds to go. Second quarter. In Greeley, Fort Morgan 21. Northridge 7 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Well, Northridge came up with a big interception from Isaac Ness, and that sets up a 19-yard touchdown pass from Jose Chavarria to Daniel Granados, and the Mustang lead is down to 14 at 21-7 under, well, just over 10 and a half minutes to go here in the second quarter. And Northridge to kick it off. Fort Morgan already with a special teams touchdown, a 65-yard punt return by Jacob Ortega. Yeah, be ready for anything now. I wouldn't even be surprised if there's an onside or a squib. Northridge knows they've got to do things differently to stay in the game with Fort Morgan. Yeah, this will be squibbed. Takes a huge hop, 3 huge hops to the 15-yard line. Stutter stepping to the 25. Breaking out of a tackle to the 30 is Sarinana. And he's down at the 35, a return of 20 before he's taken down. And Fort Morgan in pretty good field position to begin another drive already. This is their 6th possession here in the opening half, and we still have plenty of time to go. We're barely into the second quarter.
Yeah, other than that one drive for Fort Morgan, there haven't been any sustained long drives by either team.
Well, can they break off a big play? 1st and 10 from the 35. Wheatley will hand it off to Ortega. It's got a seam to the outside, cuts it back to the inside to the 40, and he's down right there. Boy, very shifty moves by Frankie Ortega. Gain of 5. 2nd and 5 to go for the Mustangs.
Yeah, made something out of nothing there. It looked like he was going to be caught in the backfield and made some moves and got up to the 40-yard line.
5 carries for Ortega for 20 yards. Looking for a big play on offense. 2nd down and 5 from the 40. From the pistol formation, Ortega is in motion. That's Jacob, but Frankie's got the football, and he swings it back right side. Then he's down as he's spun down at the 43-yard line, a gain of 3, and the tackle was made by Aaron Ness. 3rd down and 2 to go for Fort Morgan.
Yeah, he's going to be a fun one to watch for the next couple of years, just a sophomore.
Oh, this could be to Frankie again, and Northridge jumped.
Yep.
And that'll be a 1st down for the Mustangs. It'll be at the 48. Yeah, I just want to see Frankie break off a big one.
Right.
The running game has been decent throughout the course of the season, but we haven't seen any huge runs other than the 63-yarder Briggs Wheatley broke off at Conifer, or at Lakewood against Conifer. 1st and 10, Fort Morgan at their own 48-yard line. Wheatley will hand the football off to Ortega, swings it to the outside, spins across the 50 to the 47. You know, there was not much blocking there at the beginning, and Frankie made a lot out of that play. 2nd down and 5 to go for the Mustangs, now in Northridge territory.
And as long as you can get 5 yards on 1st down on the ground, you just keep that up.
But it's hard for him to run north and south when he's got to start off east and west.
Right.
If he can start off north and south, then he might be able to get a bigger gain. 8:35 to go, second quarter. Fort Morgan 21, Northridge 7. On 2nd down and 5 for the Mustangs at the Northridge 47-yard line. Wheatley out of the gun with a running back, Ortega to his left. Awaiting the snap. Wheatley, play action, backside pressure. The slant is caught over the middle. 1st down to about the 31. That is Fernando Marquez. And a gorgeous play for the Mustangs. It's a gain of 16. Well, I love that play. Nice looking pass there.
I'm not sure what they're doing now. Somebody has to go out for.
Too many players there?
No,
I think maybe his
injured.
helmet came off, or they're saying he's injured.
And Wheatley's looking better every game with his passing. 1st and 10 at the 31. There's nothing like experience. Man in motion. This will be a handoff running it to the outside. That's Jacob Ortega, and he's close to a first down as he used that sideline. But there is a flag down. That might be a hold against Fort Morgan, taking them 10 yards backwards. The preliminary indication will be made here momentarily. It is a hold against Fort Morgan. I didn't realize they called the penalty and they give you the number.
Yeah, I didn't
Nick
realize that.
Norris.
Yep.
Now, Nick is normally one that's not guilty of that type of deal. 1st and 20 for the Mustangs at the Northridge 41-yard line. Yeah, I'm just smelling a big run at some point by Frankie Ortega. Again, but they got to start him off north and south and get the proper blocking scheme in there. Out of the pistol formation. Wheatley, 2-step drop. Throws a screen out, caught by Fernando Marquez to his left. He's got about 5 yards to the 36. 2nd down and 15.
They're just trying to get some of it back, not worried about getting it all at one time. 4-down territory.
No, absolutely. 2nd down and 15 to go for the Mustangs at the 36-yard line of Northridge. Yeah, not necessarily a passing situation. Man in motion. That's Ortega. Wheatley takes it himself. He breaks out of a tackle along the left sideline to the 30. Then he's taken down from behind at the 25, a gain of 11 for Briggs Wheatley. That's a nice run when he could have been stacked up early in that play, and instead he gains 11.
He just kind of opened up over on that left side, and he took advantage of it.
Well, as a result, it's only a 3rd down and 4 to go for the Mustangs. They got to get to the 21. They're at the 25. Approaching the 6.5-minute mark of the second quarter. Fort Morgan leads 21-7. As Kevin said, 4-down territory, and definitely right now under center. 3rd and 4 from the 25. There's the handoff to Frankie Ortega. 1st down, back to the middle, across the 20 to the 19. Give him 6 yards for the sophomore. Now, he saw that hole pretty quickly.
Yes.
But again, he started off right and then found himself back to the middle. All right, at the 19 now.
Yeah, and that's going to make Frankie a dangerous runner when he can run one direction and see the cutback lane.
Under center, backs are in an eye. For the 19, Briggs Wheatley rolls out to his right, still rolling, throwing, and that's caught underneath by Ernie Sandoval. And he runs over a defender, 1st and goal at the 6 for a gain of 13 yards. And Ernie's always going to pick up an extra yard or two.
And those little defensive backs don't cherish the idea of having to take Ernie on.
I wouldn't want to take Ernie on.
I was going to say, and Brian's a big man. I'm not. 1st and goal from the 6. Well, Cale Langford is now in the backfield. Jacob Ortega in motion to the left. Here's Cale, stutter stepping right up the middle to the 5, and he's still driving towards the goal line, and he's down inside the 1. Cale Langford is very sneaky like that. Doesn't have much at the beginning, and then all of a sudden he finds that seam and just lowers his body. It's a gain of 5. That's his first carry of the game. And there is Wheatley into the end zone off the direct snap. Ran to his right and scored as he pirouetted his way across the goal line, and Fort Morgan now leads 27-7 in the second.
That's a really nice answer by Fort Morgan's offense after that turnover that led to the Northridge getting on the scoreboard.
And Brian, that time they didn't play with that short of a field.
No, it started at their own 35 that time.
Yeah, that's the longest drive of the game. Now the extra point to be attempted by Adam Cardona. He's 3 for 3 so far. Caden Edson, the holder. Adam Cardona is going to make it 4 for 4. 5 minutes, 4 seconds remaining. Second quarter in Greeley. Fort Morgan 28, Northridge 7. This is Mustang football on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs score for the 4th time in the game. They've got a 65-yard punt return for a touchdown by Jacob Ortega. Ernie Sandoval with a 22-yard touchdown catch. Jacob with a 16-yarder. And then a 1-yard run there by Wheatley. Short kick along the right sideline at the 20. Picked up right there to the 26. And smothered there. That might be Ness at the 27.
Did he fumble it?
I know, yeah. The Mustangs are diving towards either the ball or the ball carrier.
They got it.
Yep. The ball is loose, and the Mustangs have recovered. I wonder if, let's see, picking up the football. Well, I saw Sadinana come out of there, but the way that Noah Lopez is celebrating, he might have gotten it.
Well, and if you're Northridge, you're just thinking you're snake bit tonight for some reason.
Well, they're saying Matthias Coffery is he's number 15.
Yeah, he came out of there. I saw him running.
Yeah,
off
that's
the
who they're
field,
crediting with a fumble recovery. 3rd turnover by Northridge. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs at the Northridge 26-yard line. Looking to extend what already is a 21-point lead. From the pistol is Briggs. Wheatley hands it off to Ortega. Stiff arms the defender and then tries to break out of a tackle and does, and he's across the 25 to the 23. It's a gain of 3, a hard 3 yards earned there by Frankie Ortega. And for Frankie, he carry the ball quite a bit.
He's got that low center of gravity, and there's a defender that had him by the jersey, and he just basically pulled out of that guy's grasp and was able to get farther downfield.
33 yards for Ortega on 9 carries. 2nd down and 7 to go from the 23. Wheatley, play action, will take off with the football, and he's going to get a couple of yards as he tried to squeeze his way in between 2 defenders and got to the 21. 3rd and 5 to go for Fort Morgan. Under 4 minutes to go, 2nd quarter.
That almost looked like a broken play, like he didn't know what to do and just tried to make something out of it.
Yeah, it didn't look like a naturally designed play. Well, he's got 2 touchdown passes tonight. And he's got one of the premier wide receivers in Class 3A out there in Jacob Ortega on a 3rd and 5 situation from the 21. Temperature beginning to drop a bit here in Greeley, but still a very pleasant night. Frankie Ortega, the running back to the right of the quarterback, Wheatley. And there's going to be a give to Frankie. Snaps out of a tackle, but it is thrown for a loss. Nothing there. In fact, a good 3-yard loss.
And a player hurt for Northridge, unfortunately.
Back at the 25. Isaac Ness made the hit. And now, let's see what Fort Morgan decides to do on a 4th down and about, close to 9 or 10. Big time loss on that play.
Yeah, and that takes them out of the possibility of having a field goal. So I think Adams has been able to kick a long ways, but I don't know if we could go that far.
Yeah, this would be about a 42-yard field goal. Well, again, the passing game has been really good tonight. There was 1 interception thrown by Wheatley. And again, they want to finish here. They have opportunities to, keep scoring and get this towards a running clock with a 28-7 advantage. So Fort Morgan's got to make the decision here. They're going to run this play. And Coach Davies, I think, has got a good game plan to more than likely get this into the hands of a Jacob Ortega, his money player there, especially in the passing game. On 4th down and 9 from the 25, that was an injury timeout with Aaron Nessa Jr. getting up under his own power. Lining up on the left hash mark. 2 receivers to the right. It's a naked backfield for Briggs Wheatley on 3rd, make it 4th and 9. Wheatley rolling, throwing into the end zone. Caught, no, dropped at the goal line. Ortega had it. I thought it was going to be a touchdown.
Yeah.
No, that looked like a very well-thrown pass. Ortega's not happy with himself. And the Mustangs turned it over on downs.
Right, he had to spin around. He was looking for it over his outside shoulder, and he had to come back in and to his inside shoulder. He had both hands on it, but the ball just eluded him.
Northridge now to take over. Yeah, that happened earlier in the game when Wheatley was getting hit in the first quarter, and it was not quite on target like that pass was. All right, so the Grizzlies have it at their own 25. 3:06 to go. Second quarter, Fort Morgan maintains a 21-point lead. Patrick Deem is the deep setback on 1st and 10. Under center is Izzy Campa, a junior. He's going to roll out to his left. Pressure coming backside, throws underneath, incomplete. Fernando Marquez went for the pick. That should be offensive interference as Marquez was pushed as he was trying to come up with an interception, which would have been his second of the game. This will make a 1st and 20 situation possible for Northridge, if that indeed is the call.
Yeah, it looks like they're looking at Ness's shoulder there on the sideline. The Northridge kid laid out, tried to make a tackle, maybe dinged up his shoulder or collarbone.
All right, so that is the call here. That drives Northridge back to their own 13.
Fort Morgan overcame a big penalty like that. But let's hope our defense keeps Northridge from doing the same.
1st and 23. Well, Fort Morgan does have 3 timeouts remaining, all of theirs. So they can stop Northridge and then score again before the break like they did 2 weeks ago against Northfield. More than likely, it would trips to the right. This will be a give to Deem, you would think. There's the pitch to Deem. He wants to throw the football. He's going to heave it up the right sideline. It's going to be broken up by Andrew Monroe at the 47-yard line. Yeah, and the Mustangs were ready for that one, Brian.
Yeah, they didn't get caught. They didn't get caught that time. They were right in. I'm not sure that wasn't Caden Edson that was there for the defense.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But he was right in the back pocket there, the receiver.
Yep, you're right. It was Edson. Looking at a 7 instead of a 1, or 1 instead of a 7. Well, they've had 3 different players. Northridge has in terms of throwing the football. 2nd down and 23 from the 13. Campa under center. Hands off to the deep man, and that's not Dean that time. That's a secondary back. And there's a flag down at the 16, unless Fort Morgan's called a quick timeout. They have, so no flag. 3rd down and 20 to go. That was, let's see.
I thought they said Cheveria.
Yep. Well, it's 3rd down and 20. Fort Morgan has 2 timeouts remaining. And, I mean, they can try to throw the football, but when Northridge is going well, they run the ball. I mean, they really run the ball. They're just not a passing team. Fort Morgan led 21-0 after the opening quarter. We'll have a recap coming up here at halftime. And then Northridge has played with Fort Morgan here in the second. But it's not enough here for the Mustangs to relinquish even part of that 21-point lead. They did that momentarily, but Fort Morgan came right back. 3 turnovers committed by Northridge in the opening half. Fort Morgan has committed 1. All of those interceptions, with the exception of 1 fumble. 3rd down and 20 to go for Northridge at their own 16-yard line. Campa's under center. What do we have now? Well, the officials are going to convene.
I don't know, that side judge on the far side, I think, is the one that stopped it.
Well, apparently they were just, everything seems to be right.
Checking out the snacks for halftime, I guess.
Yep, all right, 3rd and 20. Man in motion to the left. Campa will take off with a football. I thought he had dropped it for a second. It was rather awkward, and he's down right at the line of scrimmage. He had nowhere to go, and Fort Morgan calls their 2nd timeout. And there were a bunch of Mustangs in on the play, including Ernie Sandoval. 4th and 20 with 2:45 to go in the second. Fort Morgan leads 28-7.
Yeah, almost like a keeper. It was kind of he was right under center. He took about 1 step back and tried to go up forward, and there wasn't any place for him to go. mean, I've seen maybe like a quarterback draw if you're in the shotgun or in the pistol formation, but not when you're up under center.
Right, exactly. All right, so the Grizzlies will have to punt.
Fort Morgan's been able to get close a couple times. I wonder if they'll go for this or try and set up the return again.
Daniel Granados is standing at his own 2. Oh, Jacob would love now to score a touchdown in the other end zone. Already has a 65-yard punt return.
Timeout, Northridge.
Wow, jeez. All right. Northridge is taking their second timeout. We've seen this pattern before, quick-moving first quarters and slow-moving seconds. No exception here.
It does seem like the second quarter has lasted almost twice as long as the first.
Oh, yeah. Mustangs in Thompson Valley. Eagles will be playing a week from Saturday. That'll be a 1 o'clock kickoff right here on B106, as well as the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Right now we're in Greeley, where Fort Morgan jumped out to a 21-0 first quarter lead. And they're up 28-7 late in the second. And Jacob Ortega is standing, well, let's see, he's still retreating towards midfield. But he might want to move up a little bit. We've seen a so-so punt from Rodriguez and a shorter one. Awaiting the snap. It's a low one. It bounces in, and he's going to take off with a football. He couldn't punt it, and the Mustangs are there to throw him down at about the 12 or 13-yard line. He advances to about the 14, and Fort Morgan's going to be in the red zone already. There was nothing the punter could do there for Northridge because the snap was low and the rush was fierce for Fort Morgan.
That was a good defensive play. Fort Morgan's set up for an opportunity to score one more time this half.
Cale Langford made the tackle, but I'd say about 4 or 5 made the tackle along with him. 1st and 10 for the Mustangs. Official spot is the 14-yard line of Northridge. Wheatley under center. There's the pitch right is Sadinana to the 10. Sadinana to the 5, and he dives and he scores. David Sadinana, 14 yards away on the pitch to the right. And the Mustangs have scored 5 touchdowns in the opening half. Fort Morgan 34, Northridge 7.
That was just a really well-conceived play that got him kind of out off tackle and good blocking downfield, and he was just able to power it in.
First touchdown of the game for David Sadinana. Adam Cardona has made all of his extra points. Caden Edson with a hold. And the kick is down and make it 5 for 5. We'll keep it right here. Fort Morgan with a 35-7 lead with 2:26 to go. Before the break. Well, best first half of the year.
Absolutely, no slow start tonight. Had the one glitch on the bad pass for the interception that
right.
Northridge's one touchdown, and had a few penalties that could have been avoided. But other than that, pretty solid football by the Mustangs.
Well, at some point this had to happen.
Right.
You couldn't go the entire year with having shaky first halves. And this time they played a stellar game. Ortega to boot it away. Now you wonder, is Northridge going to try to move the ball downfield or just try to make adjustments in the locker room? Take it at the 15, and looks like it's Ness across the 25. He's got the left sideline to the 40, and then he's taken down at the 44 by Levi McCoy. But that's Garrett Sexton with a nice return. And Northridge now has a chance to score again. Good field position. 1 timeout remaining, 2:19 to go, second quarter.
And where they had the most success was on that trick play, and other than that, they really haven't been able to establish any kind of running or passing game.
1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. Northridge on their own side of the field. There's a late substitution, Jose Chavarria. Out of the gun, Campa, bubble screen out to the right, low pass. It's caught underneath, but no gain. Well, that's Jacob Ortega with an excellent tackle. That might have been Chavarria or Chavarria. Yep.
They have a good enough field goal kicker that possibly they're thinking at least get close enough to get 3.
Well, but they need a lot more yardage. That's pretty obvious.
Yep.
Izzy Camp has really struggled tonight passing. He's 2 out of 7. Check that. 1 out of 7. That was his lone completion with 2 interceptions. On second down, another pass out in the left flat that's dropped. That should have been caught by Chavarria. Perfect pass. Third down.
Right, and in his defense, he really hasn't had a great deal of time to sit back there and get comfortable and let the passing game develop. Fort Morgan a really good job on defense tonight.
Third down and 10 to go for Northridge. At their own 45-yard line, 1:34 to go, second quarter. Fort Morgan leads 35-7. And now Northridge takes their final timeout.
Yeah, Israel Campa wasn't sure what the play was supposed to be.
Well, I mean, they want to advance the ball downfield, but you can't do it in small chunks now. You need a big play.
Right. He was short a player. He knew it. He looked to the sideline, was trying to communicate that he needed a player, and they weren't sending anyone in.
That last pass, that last pass, he was, he had it right in the hands of the receiver. That's on the receiver. That's not on Campa.
Right. I mean, that was a perfect pass, but he's trying to take off too early, wanted to make a big play, and instead you got a third down and 10 for Northridge. We'll have another championship reflection segment, a very small portion of that coming up during halftime. It'll be based on former Fort Morgan State Wrestling champion Larry Wagner, 2-time state champion in the mid-'60s. It'll be a portion of a conversation we had with him.
And then he came back and taught in Fort Morgan for a while.
Rolling out to his left, now stopping a pass underneath and nearly picked off. Incomplete. And making a great break on the football for Fort Morgan was Benny Edwards. So Camp, another incomplete pass on what was going to be a screen out to the right. 4th down and 10. Northridge just a punt. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1 out of 9. 0 yards and 2 interceptions for Izzy Campa.
That's right. He doesn't even get credit for the lateral pass that then was thrown by.
Yeah, no, that was thrown by Chavarria. Now the punt away. Fort Morgan still has time to score again with 90 seconds to go. High snap. Here comes the pressure, and he gets it off end over end. Fair catch called by Ortega at the 26. All right. They'll mark it just beyond the 25. Well, you could do a simple handoff, and if you break something, you still got a timeout. The clock will stop on the movement of the chains after a first down, at least temporarily. But there's still a legitimate shot here for Fort Morgan with Frankie Ortega in the backfield to score before this first quarter expires. First down and 10 at the 26-yard line. Wheatley will be operating in the pistol. On first down, Wheatley pass out in the left flat, caught by Ortega, has got the left sideline, and he's going to be thrown out of bounds near a first down. They might give him 9 yards to the 35.
Out of bounds, stops the clock.
Second down, a yard to go. And again, they know if they pick up a first down, they can get right back up to the line of scrimmage, and very little time will move off the clock. On first down, make it second down and 1 from the 35. Wheatley hands it off to Frankie. First down to the 40. Frankie to the middle to the 50. And he's across the 50 to the 49. It's a gain of 16 for Frankie Ortega.
It opened right up the middle. Injured player for Northridge.
And they're also injured on the scoreboard, unfortunately for them.
Fort Morgan needs to take advantage of this and get on the line and get everything set up so as soon as he's off the field, they can run that next play.
Yeah, he wants to get off under his own power. Again, I don't have a 46 on the roster, but nonetheless, we'll call it at midfield. First down and 10 for the Mustangs. A minute 10 to go. They got one timeout remaining. They will not use it now. Again, if Frankie can break off a big one, it's not necessarily, and now the clock is running.
And now they're signaling in the play. I don't understand why they didn't do that first.
From the pistol formation. With a blitz coming, Wheatley is back to throw out in the right flat. Caught by Frankie at the 45 to the 50. Along the outside, he's going to be taken down, and the ball is fumbled. And it's out of bounds. It's out of bounds, which means the clock is going to stop. Fort Morgan retains possession of the football, and that, again, it stops the clock.
I was wondering if they were going to try and get that ball out there on some sort of wheel route or someone coming out of the backfield, but I thought if they'd let it develop and get farther downfield, they might have done better.
Well, now you might have to look for your big gun, Jacob Ortega. On second down and 8 to go for the 48-yard line of Northridge. Wheatley throws it out left side. Called by Jacob underneath of the 46. Has got the left sideline, and he's got a first down. He stays in bounds. And now they're going to have to stop the clock for the movement of the chains. At the 29, it's a gain of 19. Well, that's a nice play by Jacob Ortega. An excellent play right back up to the line of scrimmage. The ball will be spiked. Spiked right there.
36 seconds left from the 30-yard line.
Yep, they're at the 29. Second down and 10. Exactly 36.1 to go. And Fort Morgan still, well, no, they don't have any timeouts remaining.
They have one.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the wrong side. From the pistol formation. Briggs Wheatley, play action, rolls out to his right, still rolling, throws along the sideline, caught by Ortega at the 16, and now he's down at the 12. They'll be taking that timeout maybe right now. It's a gain. Let's see, they're going to get right back to the line of scrimmage. Gain of 17. Clock is running, and he'll spike it.
Penalty, though. Looks like maybe it was offsides on Northridge.
Well, we'll find out. 24.6 to go.
Yeah, marking it off against Northridge.
That means the clock's going to start then because, well, maybe not. I don't know.
He spiked the ball.
Right, but they took the penalties. So that
right,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, Fort Morgan's got to be aware of that. 24.6 to go.
I think on a penalty it stays dead.
Now, it looks like the ball's at the 8. Let's see where they marked that play. Yeah, the ball's at the 8. And let's see if they will run clock here. The officials are convening, and they will not run clock. First and goal at the 8. Briggs Wheatley out of the gun. Wheatley hands it off to Frankie Ortega. Touchdown right up the gut. 8 yards away. Frankie Ortega scores, and the Mustangs have put together a huge first half. Fort Morgan 41, Northridge 7.
Yeah, and that was that long run that you wanted to see, because if that would have been from the other 8-yard line, he would have still been running. So there's no one back there to catch him.
12 carries for Ortega in the opening half for 58 yards. The PAT here coming from Adam Cardona. Caden Edson to hold. Caden Edson puts it down. Cardona boots the ball right in between the uprights. All right, we'll keep it right here again.
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is this team maturing and solidifying, and I think it's going to be an exciting next 3 games after this as we push towards the playoffs. I think Erie probably needs to be a little more nervous than they thought they were going to be. looking at Fort Morgan's first 4 games.
Well, it's a more confident football team. I mean, there's no doubt if this game was played 2 or 3 weeks ago, they don't play this well.
Right.
But there's a lot more cohesiveness out there. And remember, Frankie Ortega was not healthy for a good portion of the season. So it's just not him, but, you have to have all your players healthy.
They came together pretty good last week against Roosevelt. That was probably the turning point.
It was.
As far as their, a full complete game.
Right. That was a signature win. Jacob to boot it away. That's a nice shot there to the 11-yard line. And there's Chavarria. He's going to be stacked up at the 24, running right up the middle. Oh, that's Sexton again. Check that. Garrett Sexton.
It's now 14.7. Do you think Northridge just kneels, or do they try and huck one down the field?
No. One run and it's over. One run, you go into the locker room. And then they got to figure out what to do here. Because if Fort Morgan scores one more touchdown before Northridge gets on the board, it will be their first running clock situation of the season. 1st and 10 from the 24. Under center is Izzy Campa. Deem is 2 yards behind him. Quarterback keeper. Cross the 25 to the 30. Well, they'll give him 5 yards in a play. That's the end of the opening half. With the score, Fort Morgan 42. Northridge 7. 3-minute break on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Mustang Halftime Show is brought to you by B&B Appliance. They can help you with all of your appliance needs. Stop in and see what they can do for you on Ensign Street at Fort Morgan. B&B Appliance. John Beltran with Brian Nickell and Kevin Rhode. The Mustangs lead from District 6 Stadium in Greeley over Northridge, 42-7. Fort Morgan got on the board. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Started off with a 65-yard punt return for a touchdown by Jacob Ortega. And then Ernie Sandoval with a 22-yard catch and run for a touchdown. And a lot of these were on short fields, including a 16-yarder to Jacob Ortega. But then an option pass from Jose Chavarria to Daniel Granados made it 21-7. And then that 4th drive, Brian, when Briggs Wheatley scored from a yard out, I think that was the decent drive that started in Fort Morgan territory.
Right, started at their own 35-yard line. Took about 5 minutes and 28 seconds off the clock. So.
That's one of the longer drives Fort Morgan has had this season, making it 28-7. We figured that might have been it, but then David Sarinana scored from 14 yards out. And then what was the length of the drive to end the half, which ended with the Frankie Ortega 8-yard scoring run, because there was a turnover in between there somewhere.
There's a punt. He couldn't get the punt off.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, well, so anyway, that wasn't a long field either. So 5 of the 6 came on short fields, and Fort Morgan with a 42-7 lead. Unofficially, the Mustangs with 225 yards of total offense, and Northridge with 49. Briggs Wheatley's been effective in the passing game, 9 of 14, 119 yards. 4 catches by Jacob Ortega, including a touchdown. He's caught 61 yards worth of passes. And Frankie Ortega has been the workhorse on the ground. He has got, 12 carries for 58 yards. Northridge is trying to get Patrick Dean going, but he's been very limited in the opening half. 8 carries. And his 8 carries have merited only 12 yards. So Fort Morgan's defense has been outstanding here in the first half. But Brian, they got to finish.
Yeah, that's for sure. You were wondering about that last drive. Actually, they started that on their own 26.
Okay. That's the one I was thinking about.
Right.
Yeah.
76 yards. So that was, that's been their longest one of the year so far. But it's been, this year at least they're finishing like this game, they're finishing like they should be. They're, it's a lot more crisp football than what we've been seeing up until last week when they played Roosevelt. That was a tough, hard game, but a well played game. And tonight, as far as turnovers or not turnovers, but as far as penalties, Fort Morgan has committed 5 or 6.
Yeah,
I have them down for 4. The Grizzlies have 9 so far,
right?
And that's that kind of coincides with what you see on the scoreboard.
Fewer penalties, fewer turnovers, a better ground game. That's going to spell a lot of success.
And taking advantage of the turnovers.
Exactly, with 6 touchdowns in this game, and it's a 42-7 lead. And Kevin, when I say finish, it's just let's see what they can do in the third quarter. They should get this to a running clock.
Right, and I think the last time when they were playing Northridge or Northfield, they probably would have done that, but they started liberally subbing and getting a lot of the younger kids in, and
which is a good thing.
Right, but I could see them maybe putting the starters in and trying to get one more score and then going to that, but it's hard to tell. Yeah, and I think listening to you guys talk about the turnovers, I think one of the differences tonight is that Fort Morgan's forcing more of the turnovers. They're just relentless pressure on them all the time and forcing them to make the mistakes. Where the one mistake that Briggs did throwing that interception, there wasn't even much pressure on him, and he just threw it right to the guy. So that was just kind of a mental lapse on his part.
Interceptions by Jacob Ortega and Fernando Marquez. There was also a fumble recovery. Fill up your cooler, gas up your car. Stubbs Gas and Oil, easy and convenient. Make them the only stop you need on your way to the big game. All right, Fort Morgan leads at the break, 42-7. We'll come back with the second half of the halftime show after this, the B&B Appliance halftime show, right here on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. Khalil Banji will kick it off to begin the second half for Northridge. The Mustangs lead 42-7. A touchdown here. They get to a running clock. Line drive. Sarinana fields it at the 14. Running to his left, back to his right across the 20 to the 25, and tackled at the 28-yard line for a return of 14 yards. Hayden Rose, a senior, makes the hit on special teams. Fort Morgan had this opportunity against Northfield 2 weeks ago, and Northfield scored 14 unanswered. Now let's see the Mustangs with their starter still out there, which would obviously change if they score here. Can get it done 72 yards away from the land of no hash marks at the 28-yard line. Frankie Ortega still has not broken off that huge run, but had a productive first half with 58 yards on 12 carries. There's the handoff to Ortega, stutter stepping back to the middle, and he slams into a defender in Hayden Rose and is down at the 32. It's a gain of 4 yards for the sophomore. Second down and 6 to go for Fort Morgan. Back up to the line of scrimmage. Malachi Yanez, the receiver, out to the left along with Ortega from the 32-yard line. I'm John Beltran with Brian Nickell and Kevin Rhode from District 6 Stadium in Greeley. And what do we have now? Didn't we have a lot of this in the second quarter?
Yeah.
Just a lot of stoppages. Well, Nick Norris is getting up hobbling. That's not a good sign.
All right, yeah, he's
hopefully that's a shoe problem and not an ankle.
Yeah.
Right.
Juan Chavez now coming in. Man, I think that's an ankle issue.
And to his credit, he was going to give her a go anyway.
Yep. Yeah, let's hope that's just a minor temporary issue. From the 32, backs in an eye under center. There's the handoff. Sandoval, big hold to the 40. Up to the 45, and he's down at the 48-yard line. Ernie Sandoval shot out of there very quickly, and he picks up 17 yards and a Fort Morgan first down.
And Nick's coming back in, hobbling. They have him lining up as the tight end, even though he's got an ineligible number.
Maybe he cramped up. I don't know. Might have just been a cramp. First and 10 at the 49. 51 yards away from a running clock. Coming on a blitz. There's the pitch left to Frankie, and he has it go off his hand. And then he's got a seam to the outside of the 40. He gets a block, but there's a flag down. There's a block from behind, and he's down at the 27-yard line. But that was definitely an illegal block against Fort Morgan.
Yeah, he made a good play out of having to pick that ball up on the bounce.
Well,
Go ahead, Brian.
the penalty was downfield, so it's not
Okay.
It'll still be
10-yard penalty for the spotted foul. Replay first down.
first and
Well, tell you what, you still give them 15 yards in a play.
Did they say that was on 8? Did Briggs get downfield and hold somehow?
Well, either way, it's a 1st and 5
Yeah.
for Fort Morgan. And Frankie Ortega is now up to 77 yards from the 46 of Northridge. Man in motion to the right, and that is Jacob Ortega. He's got the handoff, breaks a tackle, trying to break out of a second. He'll be short of a first down across the 45 to the 43. A gain of 3. Patrick Dia made the tackle. That's the second carry for Jacob. Second down and 2 yards to go from the 43 for Fort Morgan. 10 minutes to go, third quarter. Fort Morgan leads Northridge 42-7. Yeah, you'd like to see them finish it off. You want to talk about a crisp, clean game? They don't have to play the full 4 quarters, but if they do it right here, then you can rest. Baxton and I on second down on a run blitz. Handoff, first down. That's a big hole for Frankie Ortega to the 25. He cuts it to the inside to the 15. Back to the outside to the 10.
Oh, wow. He was coming downfield. There's a defensive back just ready to hit him, and he just did a little slight sidestep, and the guy whiffed. That was an amazing move.
Gain of 33.
Yep, that was
he's pretty slick.
Yep.
First down and goal at the 10.
I remember coaching him on this very field when he was 5th and 6th grade. He was on the travel team, and that was a lot of fun.
Baxton and I again. Let's see if this goes to Frankie. It does, but he's not going to get out of the backfield. Thrown down at the 12, a loss of 2. Frankie's over 100 yards.
Number 26, Frank Ortega.
Hey, Eddie DePriest in there. Eddie DePriest was in there at the fullback instead of Ernie Sandoval.
Right. Yep.
All right, second down and goal at the 12. 8:48 to go, third quarter. The Mustangs lead by 35, but they want to finish off this drive and get all your secondary players in there and give these guys a rest. Cale Langford is now in the backfield, out of the pistol formation. Wheatley is going to hand it off to Langford. Big hole to the 10, inside the 5, and he still drives his way to the 4, maybe the 3 or the 2.
He's doing really well when he gets those chances.
Yep, gain of 10.
Number 12, Langford on the carry for Fort Morgan. Back made by Jose
Of course, he knows that he's got to perform while he's out there, because with Frank getting the start, he's not going to be seeing the ball very much.
Third and goal at the 2. Ortega and DePriest in the backfield under center. Wheatley handoff to Frankie. Touchdown from 2 yards away. 7:56 to go in the third. Fort Morgan now leads 48-7. Frankie Ortega's second touchdown of the game.
And they wind the clock. So that's the first for the year. Nice thing to have Fort Morgan 41 or 40 points someone and get the clock running.
The clock will only stop in 3 cases. In between quarters, for an injury, or for a timeout.
And we don't need any timeouts.
No, they can take him home with them tonight.
Adam Cardona with an extra point. Off the hold of Caden Edson. That's up and good. 7:18 to go, third quarter, under a running clock. It's Fort Morgan 49, Northridge 7 on B106 at Eastern Plains Sports Network. The Mustangs lead 49-7. Brian, they took it right down the field. A nice lengthy drive.
Yeah, they started at their own 28-yard line. Took 7 plays, and Frankie takes it in from 2 yards out.
There's the kickoff to Sexton to the 12-yard line. And he's got a big seam across the 35 to the 38, a return of 26. But we're now into this running clock for the remainder of the game.
Sexton on the return. Tackle made by number 33.
We'll probably see a little bit of substitution on Fort Morgan's side, although the varsity or the starters still need their reps.
Yep.
Looks like Marquez is still out there.
Yep.
Yeah, they have some starting members of the defense out there.
Right. Brian Paxton's still out there.
First and 10 from the 38-yard line. Two receivers to the left with one running back. That's Patrick Deem. Out of the shotgun, Israel Campa. Passes out in the left flat, caught underneath by Granados. He's got a big seam to the outside of the 40. He's going to go the distance to the 10, 5, and he's gone.
Flag.
Yep.
Oh, there is a flag.
I think I get an illegal block back here.
It would have gone for 62 yards.
Yep. That was a nice play, but something didn't work quite right. Oh, and now the coach got a illegal or unsportsmanlike.
Well, and I never saw anything illegal Northridge did there. Let's see what's going to happen now. I mean, they've had so, yeah, I didn't see any pass interference or anything illegal, but I think they just made a good play and they broke the tackle and, well, didn't break any tackle, just had the seam to the outside. Fort Morgan didn't make the play there, but this is going to go apparently against Northridge. And they're going to walk it back. A hold against Northridge. Well, and an unsportsmanlike against the Grizzlies. Yeah, the Northridge fans don't like that whatsoever. So the ball's going to be placed at the 14. Now it's a 1st and 34. They have run two plays since we had the extra point at the 7:20 mark. The kickoff and that play. So that's how fast this game is going to go for the remainder of it, with Fort Morgan up 49-7. Out of the shotgun. Campa again, pass out in the right flat. It is caught underneath. This one will not go the distance. Down at around the 19 or 20-yard line. Gain of 6. And that might be Granados again.
Nope. Yeah, they've got that short passing game, and Fort Morgan's happy to sit back and let them throw underneath and run up and tackle them.
2nd down and 28 to go from the 20. Awaiting the snap, one-step drop, pump, heave deep up the left side. Receivers out there incomplete. They're going to call interference on Frankie Ortega. Wow. And that's...
Yeah, that was kind of questionable there, unless they were
was
calling for face guarding or something. But
yeah, I didn't see interference there at all.
And I missed it because the
I didn't see that.
pizza girls were back here trying to get me to announce to the fans that they're having a sale on pizza, I think.
Pass interference, defense, number 26.
Well, yeah, that didn't look like anything like interference. No. But again, it's not an automatic first down. It's a 15-yard penalty. So now the football's at the 35. 2nd down and 13 to go for Northridge, trailing Fort Morgan 49-7. 2:25 to go under a running clock in the 3rd quarter. Two receivers split out to the left. Campa, 2-step drop. Pass out to the left is going to be tipped up and caught on the deflection by Hayden Rose, but then he's down. And watch out, Sandoval with nearly a late hit there. But he rolled right into Rose, and I'm not sure he gained anything there.
Doesn't look like it.
Nope. It was a 2nd and 13. Now it's a 3rd and 14. It's a loss of a yard.
Fort Morgan defenders flying to the ball.
A minute 48 to go, 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 14 from the 34. Yeah, the best thing that can happen in this game is just to get it over with when it's now this out of control. And this time Campo rolls out, stops, goes across the way to his left. It's caught underneath at the 35 to the 40. That's going to be a 1st down along the left sideline. And out of bounds at around the 33. That's an excellent play by Northridge. It'll be at the 34. They go from 134 to the other for a gain of 32. And that was Sexton with a catch.
Yep, nice catch and run.
Under a minute to go in the opening, in the 3rd quarter, I should say. On 1st and 10, Campa with a handoff, running right to Patrick Deem. The right sideline to the 20, and he's going to be driven down from behind. 1st and goal at around the 7 or 8 yard line. Huge running room there for Patrick Deem. as he got to the 6 for a gain of 28. Well, they needed this much earlier. This will be the final play of the third quarter with the clock running. Izzy Campa with a direct snap, and now a toss to Chavarria. The throw into the end zone is caught by Campa. Touchdown. Well, Campa has no touchdown passes, but he's got a touchdown catch.
And hopefully they're not letting out all their trick plays so that anyone scouting them will know what they're going to do, because that's like the third time.
That is end of the third quarter.
Yeah. How long was that, Brian? 6 yards or?
6, yep.
All right, extra point. To be attempted. Up and good. Let's head to the fourth quarter in 1 minute. The score, Fort Morgan 49, Northridge 14 on B106 and the Eastern Plains Sports Network. All right, Northridge has just responded. 6-yard touchdown catch by the quarterback, Izzy Campa. As we head to the fourth quarter, Fort Morgan 49, Northridge 14 on sportsmanlike committed after the extra point by Northridge. They'll kick off at their own 25. All of Fort Morgan's starters are pretty much out of the game. And that includes not everybody, but some on special teams. Well, is Northridge going to try to onside this thing? I mean, they're deep in their own territory to begin the kickoff. Nope, this will be a line drive. Fielded at the 35. That's Sadinana to the 40. Sadinana to the 45, and he's knocked down right there at the 46.
Number 2, Sariama.
So Fort Morgan takes over here with
Number 23, Hayden
just under 12 minutes to go, running clock, and we'll see if they can burn up a little bit of this clock and get an offensive drive going.
Engineering and consulting services for all of your projects. Strong commitment to their clients' needs sets them apart. That's Western Engineering Consultants. And like a good neighbor, Greg Mullen and his team at State Farm Insurance are there to make the insurance world easy for you. 842-4555. Jackson Lang for the quarterback. Hands it off to the deep man, and Sadinana cannot get out of the backfield. Thrown for a loss of a yard. Second down and 11.
Number 2, Sariama.
At the 45-yard line for David. His second carry, his first was a touchdown. You could put together a 12-minute drive under a running clock with only 60 yards of field. You just can't have a big play. Out of the gun. There's the give to Leo Luna, stutter stepping. And now there's a flag down. And so is Luna. He's going to be taken down for a loss of about a yard as well.
Number 9, Luna on the carry, tackled led by
Yeah, especially if you have several penalties in this drive, that can chew up a lot of time.
No, Northridge might just decline this to get the ball back as quickly as possible under a running clock. Hold against Fort Morgan.
Holding offense number 2.
Yep.
It's a good idea.
Yep.
Third down.
Third down and 12 to go for the Mustangs at their own 44. Either way, they'll chew up at least 3 to 3.5 minutes just off of running one play and then punting the ball if they don't get a first down here. Third down and 12 at their own 44. This game started with a 65-yard, not from the very beginning, but that was the first score of the game, 65-yard punt return by Jacob Ortega. Out of the pistol formation. Langford waiting for the play clock to run down. Sadinana, the lone setback. Luna's in motion to the right. There's a flag down. Illegal procedure against Fort Morgan.
And another minute will
Right?
wind off the
Yeah, it
clock.
doesn't stop the clock.
5-yard penalty.
Third and 17. Brian will have a recap, the scoring drive recap here at the end of the game. I'll go through some of the individual numbers. 3rd and 17 at the 39. Again, Langford waiting for the play clock to run down. With 8:50 to go in the game and the clock again running. They got this to a running clock with a 49-7 lead in the 3rd. There's the give to Sadinana. He can't get it out of the backfield. Thrown down at the 36-yard line.
Number 2, Sariana on the carry. Tackle made.
And that's 4th down and forever for Fort Morgan, about close to 20.
And a rare sight tonight, the Fort Morgan punt team for the first time.
Well, Northridge will have one more possession, you would assume. Now, that doesn't look like, or that is Frankie punting.
Yep.
Frankie Ortega at his own 22. Northridge doesn't have anybody back. They're just going to let him punt it away. With the line of scrimmage, the 37 for Fort Morgan. Maybe they're coming on, but he gets it off quickly. Gorgeous punt. This could go for about 50 yards with a roll. Bounces at the 20, takes a big Fort Morgan roll. Yeah, just let it go. And it's down at the 10. 53 yards and a punt for Frankie Ortega. Kevin Rhode, how do you like that one?
Well, I'm puzzled as to why, Coach, you would not put someone back there. Why would you give them another 20 yards? Do you really think they're going to go for it on 4th and 20 with a 35-point lead?
No, I'm with you.
Running clock. Yeah, that was just maybe he had his reasons. But yeah, I think here now you set your kids up a lot harder time. You had a chance of maybe getting decent field position at the 30 and having a 70-yard field to get down there and score in 7 minutes. But unless they get some big plays, they are not going to score from 90 yards out.
1st and 10 at the 10. Let's see, is that Campa still in the game?
No, I think it's number
Looks
1.
like Eli Wolf, maybe number 3.
Yep, there's the give on the right side, and nice play there made by Noah Lopez. The ball carrier is at 32.
And it's nice to see, unlike Northfield, when we played them, Northridge is putting their JVs in as well and subbing, which is really what should be happening here.
Right, it's a gain of a yard, 2nd down and 9 to go. Yeah, some of these might not appear on the roster. On our roster, at least. 6:19 to go in the game. Fort Morgan 49, Northridge 14. Pass out in the left flat is incomplete. They've dropped a few of those. That was not a lateral.
And that
3rd down and 9.
That play looked like it had some potential. If he would have caught that in stride, he might have gone for a while.
Well, I mean, those are the isolation plays that make it difficult on a defense if you create a one-on-one situation. So 3rd down and 9 to go for Northridge. More than halfway through the 4th quarter. Get a delicious treat, breakfast, or lunch option at Willow Coffee and Bake Shop, 921 Edison Street in Brush. 3rd and 9 from the 11. Under center is Wolf. Quick drop, looking, slant, complete at the 23. 1st down to the 26. It's a gain of 15 yards. And again, let's see.
Pass complete for a 1st down, Northridge.
Yeah, see, I'm looking 32. I don't have that on the roster.
They're definitely playing some of their younger kids.
Colorado Plains Medical Center's experienced physicians and highly trained staff make your hometown hospital the place for expert quality care. Colorado Plains Medical Center, helping communities thrive from the 26. 1st and 10 for Northridge. Trips to the right. Awaiting the snap. There it is. And that's a lateral thrown out to the left side. That is caught. And across the 35 and out of bounds. That might be another 1st down, but I don't think so. It stepped out
Number 26, Isaac Ness.
just short of that. Isaac Ness made the catch. And it's a gain of 8. Northridge might be taking timeouts here. I wouldn't be surprised to try to get back on the board. 2nd down and 2 from their own 34. We've been under a running clock since the 7.5-minute mark of the 3rd quarter. Out of the shotgun is Wolf. Two receivers split each side. Now it's a naked backfield. Wolf rolls to his right, throws underneath. The pass is caught, but short of a first down. That's a great form tackle in the open field, a gain of only 1. That was made beautifully over there by another Mustang. I'm not sure we have that number. I think Braden Fajardo was around the football, but I saw another number.
36 was out there on the tackle, but he must not be on the roster.
Third down and 1 to go for Northridge. 3:37 to go, and the clock is running. The Mustangs lead by 35. 4 receivers out to the left, which is obviously a mistake because 1 will now flank out to the right. 5 receivers in on this formation. Quarterback keeper, first down. Gain of 6 for Wolf to the 41.
Good experience, though, for these kids.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Absolutely.
Get to play under the lights with the crowd cheering and band playing.
We'll have a quick post game coming up, especially since we had a very brief third and fourth quarters. So not too much to get to in the second half. The majority of the recap is from the first half. From the 41, Wolf back to throw, looking left, pumping, throwing deep up the left side, incomplete. Well underthrown at the 42-yard line of Fort Morgan. And that might have been Ness, who was the intended receiver.
And Timmy Paxton applied some pressure and landed on the quarterback right after he threw it.
If Northridge does not call a timeout, we got about 4 plays left in this game, but I have a feeling they'll call one here to try to get on the board. Second down and 10 to go for Northridge at their own 41-yard line. Under 2:20 to go in the game. Back to throw again. The pass out in the left flat. It's caught, but a nice open field tackle, a gain of about 6. Pass was caught along the far sideline. Third down, and we'll call it about 4 at the 47, just shy of the 47.
Brings up third down.
Yeah, they're getting right back up to the line of scrimmage with 1:55 to go. On 3rd and 4, again, Wolf to throw, slant, and it's going to be caught, and there's going to be some interference, maybe, but it's caught anyway. Yep. Noah Lopez called for the penalty at the 44. This could cause Northridge to call a timeout because a lot of time's going to be taken up here just on this foul committed by Fort Morgan on that pass that went for 11 yards. Yeah, interference against Fort Morgan.
So a 15-yard penalty would move it farther downfield, I would think.
Yeah, see, the fans want them to stop the clock because it's just running here with 1:18 to go. And now there's your timeout.
Yep.
So he gets 3 more plays, maybe 4.
Well, they still have 2 timeouts remaining even after this one.
Right.
So it's at the 44. The Mustangs lead 49-14. They will not play for another 9 days. A big first half. Jacob Ortega got it all started with a 65-yard punt return. All the John Deere equipment for you is at 21st Century Equipment. All for your operation. Sterling and Fort Morgan. And crystal clear ice, good for any drink any time of year. AC Ice at any local grocery or convenience store in Northeast Colorado today. Yeah, they want to get into the end zone. They'll use up these 2 timeouts without a doubt, unless Fort Morgan forces a turnover. From the 44-yard line. Wolf, 5-step drop, pressure coming, backside. He's going to take off with the football to the 40. Wolf is going to be tackled at the 34. It's a gain of 10. And now let's see if they take their second timeout. Under a minute to go.
Well, they're just hurrying them up.
First of all, it was just shy of the first down marker, gain of 9. Yep, 49 seconds remaining. Again, Wolf to throw. The slant is going to be caught. First down at the 33. Check at the 28. Back up to the line of scrimmage. At the 28. Wolf again to throw. That slant is incomplete. Now they probably will call a timeout. I have to imagine that they, with
to get him going.
2 timeouts remaining, that they would call. Nope, they're not going to call it. 15 seconds to go. Now at 12. On second down, Wolf back to pass, pressure coming, he's sacked. Well, that might end the game right there as the Mustangs came through, and Corey Schlegel records the sack, and the Mustangs win the game 49-14. 1 minute break on B106 and Eastern Plains Sports Network.